That's all. Now we have our brother Akshay. Akshay and his friend Michael, they will have a workshop about storytelling. سرد القصص. He's specialized in storytelling. Very busy man, he won't answer my calls. Very quiet guy, but today he will talk to you about the secret of legacies and stories. So welcome, brother Akshay.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, Dr. Mohammad Buhevi, for inviting us here to Bahrain to give this talk to everyone and also to conduct the workshop. I want to give a brief introduction of Tall Tales, my company where we work with stories. Tall Tales started as a night where friends would gather and tell stories to each other, and this snowballed into a live event that we've been conducting in Bombay since the last 8 years. We've just concluded our 75th show last year, and we've had about 250 stories told live, true stories told live by regular people, storytellers and writers, and yeah. So humans have been telling stories for a long time. It's basically, if you humans are probably the biggest legacy that humans have left us is stories. And initially, in the very beginning days, like in the caveman days, the stories were used to share information that was very basic. Like, this is dangerous, this is edible, that's about it. But over time, stories have evolved. And the modes of storytelling have evolved. We have books, we have comics, we have movies, we have plays, we have theatre. We have so many ways of expressing ourselves through stories, but the core of stories remain the same. The core of stories is the truth. What is this truth? This truth is what connects us to the stories and from the stories to other people. Let me give you an example. Yesterday I met a couple from Slovenia, yes, and we had a small little discussion about the weather. And they come from a country where the weather is usually, in the winter at least, the weather is usually the negative. And they said that Bahrain is not really that cold, it's quite warm for them. Whereas for me, I come from Bombay, and Bombay is a land of perpetual summer. And Bahrain felt cold to me. So the truth of their truth and my truth was very different. But stories give us this power to examine this truth from different perspectives. You could even say that it's a technology that we have developed as humans to understand the truth. This is a quote by one of my favorite authors. He writes fantasy fiction, and even though he writes fantasy fiction, it is again a means of storytelling where it gives you the power to examine the truth of society in a very fictional setting. So you may have stories which are non-fictional, you may have stories which are fictional, but at the core of all these stories is the truth. And this truth is what really matters at the end of the day. I am a computer engineer by education, and I love combining my knowledge and love for computers with my creative side in storytelling. And I like to think of stories as these WinZip files. If you've ever dealt with Windows in the 90s, it used to come pre-programmed with a software called WinZip. And stories, you can think of them as a WinZip file, like a zip file that you receive in an email. And we humans are born with a pre-installed software called WinZip, which can extract this zip file. And this zip, what do you extract from this zip file? It's the truth. And there are various levels of truths which can be extracted from a story. So this, we will be conducting a workshop on storytelling this week, day after tomorrow. the 4th and the 5th and the 6th, I'm sorry. And we hope to be working with all of you all to discover what is this truth, how do we embed it into stories, how do we use these stories to have an impact, and what is the structure, the underlying structure of stories, what are stories and what are not stories. Because at the end of the day, unless and until you don't define what a story is, you will never know how the structure really works. And I hope to meet you all at the workshop. Again, I want to thank Dr. Mohammad Muezi for inviting us here to conduct, to give this talk and to conduct the workshop. Doctor, if I may. Thank you so much.
I have a friend, thank you very much, Brother Akshay. I have a friend from Nigeria. She gave me also a hard time to answer my calls. Very busy woman, but she wants to create a change in her community. So for that we invited her. Her name is Mo. Okay, as a short. So welcome, sister.